Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be stay together or break up. Well, I've got an email here from a guy who's been married for close to 15 years now. And he met a woman, I guess through his work, that he just had this amazing chemistry with. And it's really caused him to realize that, you know what? I don't think being in this marriage is the best thing for me. And so he's been struggling with staying with his wife, leaving his wife, and obviously this woman that he was interested in seemed to kind of disappear from his life. And it reminds me of a situation that I had when I was married. And I wrote about this in my book. I ran into a girl that I hadn't seen in many years that I was friends with in high school, and I always thought was just fucking, oh God, she was so fucking, I remember the first time I saw her, she was a cheerleader. My eyes locked right on her. I thought that was absolutely the most beautiful creature I had ever seen in my whole entire life. I was a whole 15, 16, I think I was 16 years old at the time. But I was just, whoa, Italian, dark hair, she had pretty blue eyes, just a heavenly figure, amazing smile. But she had a boyfriend all through high school. So we became friends, but it's like she always had a fucking boyfriend. You know, she was dating a guy that was 2 years older than me. She was a year older than me. And anyway, she went off to college. I hadn't seen her, talk to her, and probably, let's see, that would have been 96. So I probably hadn't seen her in about 7-8 years at that particular point. And I was out with a buddy of mine. I was actually down in South Florida for another one of my good friends' weddings. And my buddy and I, we ran into this girl, and she was with her sister. And her sister used to date my buddy that I was with, and he was married at the time as well. And we just hung out, and we started chatting. And you know, this girl that I was into in high school, it was just like amazing fucking connection. We were into the same thing spiritually. It was just awesome. And, you know, she was in an unhappy marriage, and I was deep down thinking, God, I never felt this way about my wife. I never felt these butterflies and this just magnetic fucking attraction with my wife. I loved her. She was a great fucking girl. We had a lot of fun together. But I never felt the way I did about this particular girl that I did my wife. And I'd always known that. But I'd kind of given up, and I was like, oh, I guess that'll never work out. I'll never have somebody that I feel that way. That's just unrealistic. And when I ran into this girl, you know, we kept in touch for a few months after that. And I just, God, it just caused me to revisit all those feelings and things that I had kind of given up on. And I realized, you know what? You know, because my wife was trying to get pregnant at the time. I was thinking, man, I don't want to have a family like the one I grew up in. I want my kids to be happy. I want them to see me in love with their mom, and their mom in love with me, and a great, amazing relationship where we're always touching, we're always affectionate. And I thought, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And it was a wake-up call. We didn't ever end up together. I mean, she stayed with her husband and everything, and we lost touch. But that's the way the universe works. It brings people into your life that makes you go, should I really be in the relationship with this person? Does it serve me? Does it serve her for us to stay together? So I'm going to go through this, and you're going to see some of the things that this guy is obviously struggling with. But I have a quote that I wrote on this topic, and then I'll go through that, and then we'll get in this guy's email. And the quote says, "It's never easy to end a relationship with someone once you realize it has run its course, or you simply do not share the same goals and values. Our fear that we won't find anyone better, we will never find anyone else, the next person will not be as attractive, as fun, or simply won't love us as much, can paralyze us into inaction. Therefore, we live a lie and stay in a relationship that deep down we know no longer serves us. It takes guts, faith in oneself, and faith that in time someone better and more suited to us will come along. If you know yourself, believe in yourself, and can get to a place where you are okay with the possibility of never finding someone else or someone better, then you can lose your attachment to relationships that need to end. Then and only then will you be ready, willing, able, and open to successfully attract someone more suited to the next grander version of yourself that you are destined to become." Back to the situation with my marriage. It was tough. God, it sucks getting a fucking divorce. Dealing with a divorce attorney, and that's stressful, and I don't wish that on anybody. I feel for anybody that's gone through a divorce. You just think, what are my friends going to think? What are my family? I've only been married a year. It's like, God, people are going to be making fun of me. And it's like, so you go through all those things, and it sucks. It's not, and so you try to talk yourself into staying, but at the same token, your heart's going, it's not really in it. It never was really in it, and I made a fucking mistake, and I need to fucking man up and do something about it. So let's get into this guy's email. He says, hey, Corey, I've been watching your videos for a while now. I'm a 36-year-old man, and I've been married for 13 and a half years, and I got 2 kids with my wife. My wife and I get along great, and we're able to connect, but I realized last year that she and I would not be able to grow together as much as we potentially can, as we have very different goals for life, and we differ drastically in religion. She's a Mormon, and I used to be really into the Mormon religion, but I no longer believe in it. I believe in a force in the universe, but that's it so far. My end goal for life is to be more of an adventurer and explorer and not hunker down with the family every day like she wants. I believe because of this, I became drawn to a young woman where I work, and when I first met her, there was an electrical charge between us. The kind of meeting a soul connection gives you. It was obvious in the first few seconds that there was an intense attraction. We talked as friends at work for a year and a half and then became very close earlier this year. However, by being married became a sticking point, and I agreed. Sometimes I would email her a couple of times, which you say shows neediness and insecurity. She ended up leaving the company and then went back home and texted, we just need distance. I tried contacting her via email and text a couple of times over the last few months this summer. I feel good in the sense that I didn't blow up her phone or email, but sad in the sense that even with just a few short attempts at contact, she no longer wants any contact. Well, just like I talked about in the video that I did the other day, the last video that I did, she's not making an effort, and you're not waiting for her to make the effort. And it gets to the point where she's like, you're married, and it's inappropriate. At the end of the day, she doesn't want to be the other woman. It sounds like this girl's got some integrity. So she removed herself from the situation, and yet you continue to call and pursue and reach out. But the one thing you weren't doing is resolving the situation with your wife. Because all women know other women that have gotten involved with married guys that always talked about leaving their wives but never had the guts to do it. And so she was smart enough to realize, you know what, this guy is not clear in his intent, he's not clear in his relationship, and I don't want to be just an on-the-side girlfriend for this guy who's wanting to sow his oats or whatever it happens to be. He says her last message to me was to never contact her again, and she had no interest in me at all. Well, that's pretty definitive, as she slammed that door in your face. He says this is hard to believe with how much she recognized that connection earlier in the year and how I hadn't really blown up her phone or email, just a few attempts to reach out this summer. He said, I also have a website that I know she visits to this day periodically, which are my own personal writings, so I know she thinks about me still. This kind of thing is tough from someone you feel so connected with, but on the other hand, I am married, and I think she feels ashamed, hurt, and frustrated by me not backing off completely as a married man. Totally understandable, because she communicated it was inappropriate. She said we need distance. She even left the company. She didn't want to become the other woman. And the bottom line is you shouldn't leave your wife for her. You should leave your wife because it's what you want. You realize that it's just like you said, your goals and your values, at least as far as your spiritual beliefs, are just totally not aligned. He said she would date me if I was single, but never again while married. Because of this deep connection, I also feel hurt by the blatant cutting off of communication. Well, it's like, dude, what can you expect? You can't expect her to be in the girl on the side while you dither and have your cake and eat it too, because that'd be torture for her, because all women are going to want to bond and be exclusive with you at some point. And if you're living with your wife and your kids and you have that family life and she only gets to see you every once in a while, she's not going to want that. Sounds like a pretty fucking smart girl. Sounds like she's got her shit together. He says, as you said in your book, to completely cut one off from communication is hurtful and doesn't help in healing. This girl and I got along so well, And it was a polar shift when she became cold-blooded like this. I still care about her, but realize if someone doesn't want me in their life, I can't do anything about it. As you say, if someone cares about you, they will reach out to you again at some point. Well, she's told you to never contact her again, and you need to respect that. Maybe you kept contacting her and trying to move it along to the point where she just looked at you and said, this guy's too weak to resolve his situation, his marriage, and I certainly don't want to get involved with a weak man. And therefore, she disappeared from your life. Maybe you got too sappy, and we're talking about your feelings and this and that, and not noticing the fact that she wasn't talking about any of those things. He says, this brings me to my own situation in my marriage. I believe the right thing to do is to split up from my wife. We both care for and respect each other. My wife knows about this other girl and has been very understanding, but I don't think it's fair to me or my wife to stay in our marriage when we are capped in our potential and don't have the same long-term goals or religious views. Well, if your goals and your values are not aligned, there's absolutely no fucking point. If you're with a woman or dating a woman or married to a woman and she doesn't support your purpose, she doesn't think it's awesome what you do for a living, she doesn't support you wholeheartedly 100%, you are with the wrong woman. He says, I also don't feel and have never felt the in-love, amazing feeling with my wife, but I always more of just a care, respect, and love, and I know it's possible to feel in love as I did with the gal that I worked with. Like I said, the situation that I shared earlier about the girl that I had the hots for in high school who always had the boyfriend, it's like that was a wake-up call for me when we ran into each other 7-8 years later, because it stirred all those feelings in me. And we had this amazing connection, and it's like all those feelings that I had for her came back, even though I couldn't really act upon them because she was married and I was married. But it caused the wheels to start spinning, and it caused me to resolve the situation with my wife and get out of it. And after I ended up leaving her, it was about 4 years before I was able to finally get into a relationship with somebody that really fucking knocked my socks off. That's what it took for me to learn enough, to become strong enough, to get to a place where I could attract one of these women that I felt that way about. And we had a great, amazing time, amazing relationship. I learned a lot. She learned a lot. I wrote about some of our experiences together in my book. And those kinds of experiences change your life. It raises your standard. And you realize, wow, it really is true to have butterflies in your stomach. It really is true to be able to wake up every day and constantly think about this person and not be able to wait to see them again, to be excited to hear from them. You see their messages in your phone and you're just, oh, God, it's so great to hear from her. It's worth it. It's worth the wait. It's worth it to do the work on yourself. I mean, all the great relationships I've had since I left my wife all those years ago, God, what... it's like I would have fucking totally missed out, man. It's like my life would be a fraction of... I can't imagine where I'd be if I'd have stayed with my wife and had a family. It's like I certainly wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now for a living. It's like it just it completely changes your life. It takes you in new directions. Because when you love somebody and your heart opens up to somebody and they open up to you, you expand in every direction. It's amazing what love can do for your life. When you really love somebody and you're loved by somebody who really loves you, it's like, it is fucking magnificent. It is better than any fucking drug you've ever experienced in your life. It's the best high you can possibly be on. And it is definitely worth the fucking wait. But you got to do the work on yourself. You got to focus on the things that are a priority in your life. And you got to do the hard things. Sometimes you have to go through things that you hate and you don't really want to go through in order to come out on the other side. And at this point, you got to think about your kids. Your kids need to see that. They need to know what it looks like, what it feels like, to at least see dad happy and head over heels in a relationship with a woman that knocks his fucking socks off. That way, they have something to aspire to in their own lives. Because otherwise, the two of them are going to grow up and they're going to go out and get involved in the same kind of mediocre relationship, loveless relationship that you've been in with your wife. You've got great kids and you have great experiences, and it sounds like you and your wife have a really great, honest, and open communication with one another, but it's time to be realistic. She's better off with somebody whose goals and values are more aligned with hers, and so are you. He says, I'm currently reading your book and doing my best to change my philosophy to one of living my mission and welcoming people in my life who want to be there. I don't know what advice you can offer in a video for this, as most of your videos don't deal with married men or those in relationships who have sought connection outside of the marriage and relationship, but it might be a helpful thing to talk about. Well, it's a good topic, good change of pace, because I was once in this situation, and so I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly what you're feeling, and my life has been absolutely fucking magnificent because I grew a set of balls and I did the right thing of getting out of that marriage before. I had one of my old business partners many years ago. He met a woman, started dating her when he was like 18, 19, listened to all the peer pressure, and he went ahead and married her, and he was literally, after, 6 months of being with her, he was going to divorce her. He was literally getting ready to have that conversation where that he was leaving her, he'd made a mistake, he was sorry, and then right literally as he's getting ready to tell her that, she goes, "Hey, I'm pregnant." And so he ended up staying in that marriage. 12 years later, 2 kids later, he finally said, "I can't do this anymore. I got to leave. I'm just not happy." So it's 12 fucking years he did that. And it was tough. And, he was single for, 4 or 5 years, dated a lot of women, did a lot of hooking up. And when he met his present wife, they've been together for, I think, like 35 years at this particular point. They got 2 kids, and she loves the shit out of him, and he loves the shit out of her, and it is absolutely worth it. It is absolutely worth it to have strong, uncompromising principles when it comes to your happiness, because all of us have a limited amount of time on this planet, and the amount of time you've been here is getting longer, and the amount of time you've got left is getting shorter, and therefore there's no point in not living and playing full out in your life. Raise your standards, raise the bar, learn the things that you need to learn, apply the things that you're learning from me so you can attract a really great person into your life whose goals and values are totally aligned like yours, and they'll fit right into your life like a fucking glove. And I promise you, if you do the things that I teach and we talk about, it'll be more magnificent than anything you've ever experienced in your life. I'm living proof. I've experienced that. I've experienced that numerous times. I've written about a couple of relationships like that I've had. It changes your life, dude. It's just amazing what love can do and how it expands you in every area of your life. It just makes the human experience so much richer. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.